Hey, my friends! Today's story is about a young girl named Emma who discovers courage, hope, and the quiet beauty of life during one stormy, rainy night. This is a story about facing fear with kindness, finding strength in small things, and learning to shine even through the rain. It was late in the evening when the rain began to fall in gentle drops. The sky was a deep shade of gray, and the wind whispered through the tall trees lining the small town. In a cozy little house on Maple Street, 11-year-old Emma sat by the window, watching the steady rhythm of the rain. She loved the way it tapped against the glass, like a secret drum, inviting her to dream. Emma had always been curious and full of wonder. She lived with her grandparents, who taught her to cook, plant flowers, and tell stories by the fire. They often said she had a bright spark in her heart, and that spark shined the brightest when the world felt still. Tonight, though, she felt uneasy. The rain reminded her of the night her parents left, a memory wrapped in sadness. Her grandmother called from the kitchen. "Emma, darling, could you help me with the tea? It is getting cold." Emma hurried in, her slippers silent on the wooden floor. Together, they prepared a pot of chamomile, filling the room with a warm, soothing smell. As she carried 2 steaming mugs back to the living room, Emma noticed how the candlelight danced on the walls. Shadows of leaves swayed, and the soft glow felt like a comforting hug. She handed one mug to her grandfather, whose gentle eyes always made her feel safe. "Thank you, my dear," he said, wrapping his hands around the cup. "This storm is quite strong tonight." Emma nodded. "I know, Grandpa. I love the rain, but I also feel lonely sometimes." Her voice was a soft whisper, carrying the weight of a child's heart. Her grandmother took Emma's hand. "You are never alone, sweet girl. We are here with you, and the world around you holds so much beauty. Listen to the rain, and imagine the stories it could tell." Emma closed her eyes and let the rain's melody fill her mind. With each sigh of the wind and patter of water, she felt a small torch of hope glow inside her chest. Suddenly, a loud crack of thunder shook the house. Emma jumped and spilled a bit of tea, the steam curling in the cool air. "Oh, I'm sorry," she said quickly, her cheeks red with worry. Her grandfather chuckled softly. "No harm done. Rainstorms can be loud, but they also wash away our troubles." Emma was not convinced. She wrapped her arms around herself, shivering. Troubles can be big. Sometimes they feel too big to handle. Her grandmother rose and draped a soft blanket around Emma's shoulders. "Brave people are not those who never feel afraid. Brave people are those who face fear with kindness and hope. You have that courage, my dear. You have it right here." She tapped the center of Emma's chest where her heart lay. Emma took a slow breath. She looked at her grandparents' kind faces, etched with years of love and wisdom. The storm roared outside, but inside the little living room, she felt a calm strength. After a moment, Emma whispered, "Can I go outside, just for a minute?" Her grandparents exchanged a glance. Her grandfather asked gently, "Are you sure? It is wet and the wind is strong, but if your heart says yes, we trust you." Emma nodded. She slicked on her yellow raincoat, the one dotted with small white clouds, and pulled up her hood. She put on her bright red boots, the ones she had chosen herself last autumn. Opening the door, Emma felt a fresh rush of air and droplets landing on her face like tiny kisses. Though the wind tried to push her back in, she stepped forward. Water pooled on the porch and trickled down the stairs. She slipped, but caught herself, laughing softly. The world outside looked different in the rain. The trees bowed under the weight of water, and the street lamps cast golden halos through the curtain of drops. Puddles formed on the sidewalk, perfect mirrors reflecting lonely trees and fluttering leaves. Emma knelt at the edge of a large puddle. She stared at her reflection, her wet hood framing her face. For a moment, she saw only sadness, but then she saw the sparkle in her eyes. She saw a girl who had dared to step into the storm. Rising, Emma walked to the old oak tree at the end of the garden. Its bark was rough and soaked, the branches heavy. She reached out, touching the trunk, feeling its strength. "You stand tall through every storm," she said softly. "You keep growing, no matter what. I want to be like you." A bright flash of lightning lit the sky, followed by a rolling boom of thunder. Emma's heart pounded, but she did not move. She stayed rooted, brave. As she stood there, she noticed tiny creatures waking in the rain. An earthworm wriggled across the ground, searching for safety. A snail slid slowly on the wet grass, its shell carrying it forward. A small bird shook water from its feathers near a bush, chirping a soft tune. Emma smiled. She crouched and whispered, "Hello, friends. This night may be scary, but we are together. We will find our way." She felt a gentle kinship with the humble creatures who trusted the rain. In that moment, Emma realized something precious. Storms come and storms go. They may be fierce, but they are part of life's journey. And in every storm, there is a chance to grow stronger. The wind calmed, and the rain slowed. Emma watched as the clouds parted, revealing patches of the dark sky sprinkled with stars. Moonlight glowed on the wet leaves, making them sparkle like jewels. She walked back to the house, her boots leaving small footprints in the soft earth. She climbed the steps and closed the door behind her. Her grandparents greeted her with proud smiles. "You look like you have seen a miracle," her grandmother said, offering her a towel. Emma dried her hair and shook off the drops. "I saw many miracles: the brave tree, the tiny worm, the shining stars. I felt fear, but I stayed. I felt hope and it grew." Her grandfather nodded. "You have a strong heart, Emma. Remember this night whenever storms come. You have the strength to face them. And after every storm, there is calm and beauty." Emma sat by the window again, feeling the last drops of rain slide down the glass. She felt warm inside, wrapped in her blanket, and in love with the world. Her grandparents joined her, and together they gazed at the garden bathed in moonlight. The night was quiet now, filled only with the gentle drip of water from the eaves. Emma closed her eyes and whispered a promise to herself. "I will be brave, I will grow, I will find beauty even when it is hard to see, and I will share my light with the world." In that simple vow, she found her strength, and on that rainy night, a new chapter in her life began, a chapter of courage, kindness, and endless wonder. As the clock chimed midnight, Emma's heart was as bright as the moon above. She drifted to sleep, dreaming of sunlit mornings, blooming flowers, and the promise of tomorrow. The next morning, the world had changed. Dew clung to petals, and the air smelled like fresh beginnings. Emma woke with a new light in her eyes. She jumped out of bed, eager to greet the day. Downstairs, her grandparents were making pancakes. The kitchen buzzed with the sound of the sizzling pan and the scent of maple syrup. "Good morning, sunshine," her grandmother said, flipping a pancake. "Morning. I want to go help Mr. Harris in his garden today. He said the rain would soften the soil," Emma said excitedly. Her grandfather raised an eyebrow. "You sure you're ready to get your hands dirty so soon?" "Absolutely. I want to help things grow," Emma replied, her eyes shining. Later that day, Emma and Mr. Harris worked in the garden. He was an old man who had lived next door for decades. His hands were rough, but his heart was gentle. The rain helps, but it takes patient hands to turn a seed into a flower, he said, handing her a small trowel. I want to learn, Emma replied, kneeling to dig in the earth. They worked quietly, side by side. Birds chirped in the trees, and the sun peeked through the clouds. Emma planted rows of marigolds and daisies, patting the soil gently. You know, Mr. Harris said after a while, I lost someone once, long ago. And during a storm just like the one last night, I sat under this tree and cried. But afterward, I planted my first rose bush. It's still here, blooming every year. Emma looked at the old rose bush, full of red blossoms. It's beautiful. Thank you for telling me. He smiled. You're part of this garden now, just like the roses. Days turned into weeks. Emma started visiting more neighbors. She brought small bouquets of flowers, handmade cards, and stories from her rainy night. People began to smile more, laugh louder, and share their own tales. One evening, as Emma returned home, she found her grandparents waiting with a surprise. On the table was a small book, its cover soft blue with gold letters that read, Emma's Rainy Night. We wrote down your story, her grandmother said, so others can feel brave too. Tears welled in Emma's eyes. She hugged them tightly. Thank you. I want to share it with the world. Years later, Emma grew into a young woman who traveled to many towns, speaking to children about courage, kindness, and the lessons learned from storms. She read from her book, now printed and loved by many. She always ended with the same words. Storms may come, but they help us grow. Every drop of rain holds a lesson, and every night brings a new dawn. Remember the strength inside you, and never be afraid to dance in the rain. And so, from one rainy night, Emma created a world of light.